Wee Georgie Wood is a Fowler-class black narrow gauge engine who was born in 1924 in England, United Kingdom. To have his journey to Tasmania, he was taken from boat over the sea and came to Tullah, the country's village. His railway used to be big. It goes from the village to Emu Bay Railway. That's the main part. And there is a bridge. He has two friends, or one friend and a sister. His sister is Wee Wood, and an Italian diesel named Romeo. The three of them run the railway together. Those days in the 20s were great. But things have to change. And there was some sadness in these young days. During Wee Georgie Wood's life here, running the railway, he had an accident falling off the track and went into a small ravine after his driver and fireman had jumped clear. Wee Wood came to his rescue and was taken apart so he could get mended. She was scrapped then. So Wee Georgie and Romeo were the two engines left. And life went on all right. And they have to live with not reminding themselves about their loss, if they have time to. Wee Georgie helped some people in a world war, only taking soldiers to Devonport docks. He is lucky to not go with them. He likes living on Tasmania because he feels it's his home. When 1964 came, the day Roy Orbison made his song, Pretty Woman, Wee Georgie did his last jobs before being put in the museum in a scrap condition. His colour was fading. He did some work in the mine. And before he did go to the museum, he did three things. He brought in the food and children's drinks and helped some wedding people by bringing the wedding ring. Oh yes, he does help the isolated place. after those jobs were done, he went in the museum. A little girl named Edna, who has grown up and has moved away from Tullah, has known the Black Engine for years, and there was a man named Graham Hawes who brought him. His railway was remade, but the route to the Emu Bay Railway was never rebuilt. His reopening was done in 1981, the year Postman Pat was broadcasted to television. He only does the tour rides, taking one coach. Tullah wouldn't be the same if Graham didn't buy Wee Georgie Wood. In the 2000s, my mother's parents, Arthur and Cynthia Lynch, who were my grandparents, told my mother Rosemary Rush about the engine, and she told me about the same thing. So the four of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us went to visit Tullah. I was the first person to meet the engine, Wee Georgie, when he used to have a tall, thin funnel. Arthur and I would ride in his cab with the driver, who was a volunteer, and there was a secretary lady named Doreen Smith. She's been a secretary for years, and of course is a volunteer driver too, to drive the engine. So is Graham Hawes. That memory of my first introducement to the Black Engine from England was stuck in me. One day, when 2010 came, my mother visited Edna. She told her Wee Georgie Wood was in pieces. She told me the news, and I just said to myself, oh dear, I'd best support him. And so I gave his society some letters, and my mother had a word with the engine work people, who said they had received a lot of letters. And in 2013, he was finally restored, all thanks to my support. He had a new funnel called a spark catcher. I rode in his cab the second time, and I had my digital 8 camera, which I'm using now, to make a film called Welcome Back, Wee Georgie Wood. So life goes on much the same now that Wee Georgie's out of the museum, and I gave them another letter about when their diesel engine Romeo was needing to be mended, with some help of support from anyone. and they gave me another letter with the surprise stuff. 2 badges. Doreen was good at making the sewing art. Aren't we lucky to know our engine fender's on the rails again? So now today, I have decided to make a series for YouTube called Wee Georgie Wood, the Black Engine and Friends. The series for YouTube will be lasting forever for the years to come, like Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. We all know that Graham Hawes and Doreen Smith have been a help to the old engine. They might one day ask me to drive him after I learn from the engine book.